everyone. Good afternoon and welcome to the talk on the Super Top Up Group Insurance policy for IIMK alumni and fellow professors, faculty members in the campus. We have scheduled this talk to introduce, to clear doubts, and to inform what all is covered in the policy and why this initiative, what we are doing, uh, and why we are doing this. Thank you again for coming and joining us. So, just giving a brief background, I have Bodhayan with me. Let me introduce him. Bodhayan heads uh, insurance division for Zopper, the company that is helping us in getting the insurance done for IIMK alumni. We also Zopper also helped last year. Zopper also helped IIM Bangalore. This year also helped IIM Bangalore to take the policy live as we did it last year, and this is an initiative which we started last year. We covered more than 600 alumni and around 2,400 family members. And we saw that there were people who got benefited from this policy. So this year we are relaunching, covering more alumni and renewing the policy for alumni who covered last year. So I'll request Bodhayan to take the session forward. First of all, so let me set the tone for the session. Bodhayan will give detailed introduction to the policy, what is covered, what is not covered, how we are going to enroll, what is there in the policy, and what will be the claims process, what will be the effect for new and people who were covered earlier, and then we will do FAQ session. So feel free to post your questions in the comment section on YouTube channel. We will be answering those with each topic or at the end as per the flow, so that the conversation does not break and you get the best gist of what of the insurance. So over to you, Bodhayan.
Just wanted to say a very hearty good afternoon to all of you for joining us. And ideally today, what we're going to do here is understand in terms of what all things are there in the program, in the insurance program. And in addition to it, also understand it better so that we are able to, cover our family, our immediate family, who all we can cover, what all IIM Kozhikode Alumni Association has done differently in terms of the product structuring, which the journey started last year. This year again, we are continuing with the journey, and we intend to continue with this journey year after year. Now, keeping that into mind, today what we are going to discuss about is a brief on what is a super top-up insurance program and how a super top-up insurance program works. It's important for us to understand that. And in addition to it, we would also want to look at the concept of deductible. What is a deductible and how a deductible concept works? Then we will move on to basically the product features that is there as a part of IIM Kozhikode Alumni Association Super Top-Up Insurance Program. And post that, we would move on to certain question answers from your side, and ideally you can start posting your questions, and we would try to get back to. So when you leave from this session, our intention is that you have a clear understanding of the product which is getting offered, and you have the conviction of coming in and enrolling for this program, A. Second, you also have a clear idea in terms of how a super top-up program works and how the deductible concept works. Keeping these two things in mind, I am sure that it will help you take the right decision in terms of your enrollment, choosing the right sum insured, choosing the right deductible, and all. Now, if you're able to see the next screen, where what we are trying to talk about here is a difference between what is a base health insurance plan, what is a top-up health insurance plan, and what is a super top-up health insurance plan. Now, what needs to be understood here that there are marked differences between these three categories: the base, the top-up, and the super top-up. To iterate or reiterate, the IIM Kozhikode Alumni Association program is a super top-up program. Now, how do we differentiate? And let us quickly understand that a base health insurance program is basically your first layer of insurance, which is provided either by your employer or we would have taken it on our own. And typically, the sum insureds range in between 3 to 5 lakhs. That's your first level of safety net. A top-up program sits on the top of a base program, and normally a top-up program will map a base program. That is one way of looking at it in terms of the coverages. And a top-up program will trigger after the sum insured of the base program gets exhausted. But another very important thing for a top-up program is that for a top-up program, we need to cross the deductible, with every claim. So if in any claim we have a deductible of 3 lakhs, for example, 3 lakh deductible would mean that up to 3 lakh, this claim is not going to trigger. That's the deductible. For a top up, if we select a top up for every claim that we lodge, we need to cross that 3 lakh and then we will be able to claim. So ideally, in the case of a top up program scenario, our chances of coming back and claiming becomes difficult because it's very difficult for us to clear that deductible every time. Now, when I talk about a super top-up program, a super top-up program takes away this problem area, and super top-up program's definition is amazing. It says that you need to cross the deductible only once during the policy year, and then the rest of all the claims can move into this program. Now, interestingly, I'll give a small example here, and maybe try to explain here. So the small example is a base health insurance. So I come back, say I get hospitalized and I have a claim of 5 lakhs. First claim, 5 lakhs. Now, when I talk about a base health insurance, I have an existing base health insurance program of 3 lakhs. So 3 lakhs gets paid from the base. Now, if I bring in a top up, the top up triggers. If I bring in a super top up, the super top up also triggers, understanding that I've chosen a deductible of 3 lakhs in this example. So second time, the second claim of another 2 lakh comes in. The only policy in which this 2 lakh claim will also get paid will be the super top up, because I have crossed that 3 lakh deductible in my last claim, and now every claim can come into this. But it will not get paid in the top up program because it's 2 lakhs, which is less than the 3 lakh deductible, which needs to be crossed every time on every claim. So to make it simple and easy to understand, a super top-up program is a much better way of designing a policy or a program wherein the beneficiary or the alumni in this case can come back and avail the benefits of that program in a much better way. So ideally, IIM Kozhikode insurance program is a super top-up insurance program. That's the first point that we wanted to convey. So I talked about this top-up versus super top-up, which is explained in multiple cases. So ideally remember that super top-up helps in multiple claims because you just need to cross the deductible only once. In case of top-up, you need to cross the deductible every time. And I have a slide down where I will explain what is a deductible and how it works also for the sake of understanding. Now, this is that deductible scenario illustration that I'm talking about. So if we understand that there is an alumni named James Bond, and I'm going to explain this with an example and make it easy for you to understand. The name of IIM Kozhikode alumni is James Bond, and he has picked up 3 policies in the IIM Kozhikode Alumni Association program. He's covering himself, spouse, up to 4 kids, with a sum insured of 50 lakhs and deductible of 5 lakhs. He's picked up a policy for 2 parents. He's picked up his policy for up to 2 parent-in-laws also. These are the 3 policy combinations in which you will be able to enroll in this program. So understand that you can bring in your spouse up to 4 kids, your parents up to 2 parents, and your parent-in-laws up to 2 parent-in-laws. You can get all of them in the program, but the policy combinations will be 3 separate policy combinations. The first policy combination will be the alum, spouse, and up to 4 kids. So the second policy combination will be up to 2 parents, and the third policy combination will be up to 2 parent-in-laws. Now, one point that here we need to iterate is ensure that if both the parents or in-laws are alive, we need to bring both of them into the program. We should not have a selection criteria there. That's one point. The second point is the deductible, you see in these three policy programs need to be crossed individually in those programs. So it necessarily does means that if alumni spouse and up to 4 kids has a sum insured of 50 lakhs and a deductible of 5 lakhs, my parents and maybe say for parent-in-laws also the same combination goes. So in all these three policy combinations, the deductible needs to be crossed individually, which makes it easy to understand. Now, if you look at the claims example, the scenario of claims below, the first claim, which hits James Bond on the year after he takes the policy, is a claim amount of 3 lakhs in the plan alumni spouse kid. So maybe a James Bond himself has got hospitalized or something like that. Now, the question is, will the claim be payable? Now, the answer is the claim will not be payable because if you see on the top right-hand corner, the deductible is 5 lakhs. Hence, the first claim doesn't get paid. It has to get arranged from from James Bond's existing base insurance program, pardon me, or from James Bond's other finance sources. The second claim which comes in now is a 7 lakh claim and it hits in the parent's policy. Now, will this claim be payable? Yes, this will be payable to an extent of 2 lakhs because 5 lakh being the first set of deductible on the parent's policy. So 7 minus 5 is 2 lakhs gets paid. Third claim again comes in, maybe James Bond's wife now gets hospitalized of another 4 lakhs in the alumni spouse kid policy. Will this claim be paid? Yes, this claim will be paid. To what extent? You see, earlier James Bond filed 3 lakhs in the alumni spouse kid policy. We did not get paid because it couldn't cross the deductible, but it gets counted. And the third claim, he has brought in a claim of 4 lakhs. So 3 plus 4 is 7. 7 minus 5 lakhs, the deductible, is 2 lakhs, which will get paid. So this claim also gets partially paid. Now, on the fourth claim, there is a 10 lakh claim in the parent-in-law's policy. Yes, this claim will get paid up to 5 lakhs because 5 lakhs being the deductible. Now, suppose it's a very bad year for James Bond, and again, there's another claim of 20 lakhs now in the parent's policy again as a fifth claim. In this case, you see the entire 20 lakhs will get paid because total, so there's already a claim which has got registered on claim number 2 of 7 lakhs. So we have crossed the deductible there. So this entire 20 lakhs will get paid here because we have crossed the deductible. Now, ideally, if we look at the deductible scenario, the best way to understand the concept of deductible, I'll reiterate again, is deductible is the amount up to which the policy does not trigger. It triggers beyond that. So if I choose a deductible, so in this policy, I will talk about that later. There are 4 deductible options: 3, 5, 7, and 10 lakhs. So depending on my insurance coverage, if I want to increase or decrease, I can choose accordingly the deductible. Please keep in mind that the policy will not pay up to the deductible. The policy will trigger only beyond the deductible. Now, this being there, now quickly I will move on to the next slide where we talk about the coverage and the plans. And here, Piyush, as I stop resharing the screen and bring up the brochure, you might want to add your points here.
So there are a few questions which have come. I think so. I guess well explained. There are a few questions which have come up around deductibles. Would you like to resolve those along as we move, Ryan?
Yeah, Piyush, we can take the questions now. So
Okay.
if you may read out the question, and that would help me, Piyush.
Sure. So Clark Prasad asked if a spouse insurance is covering for the in-laws and it gets used and deductible threshold is crossed, then can the super top up be used even if my base insurance is not used? I think it's also flashing on the screen for viewers.
Yeah, so the super top up only triggers post we cross the deductible. So that's the better way of answering this and understanding this. And if your spouse insurance is covering for the in-laws and it gets used, so ideally, Clark, what we have to understand is look at the policy combination who all are there. You, your spouse, and up to 4 kids. So if you're saying that the spouse insurance is used to cover the deductible, that's perfectly fine. But if you're saying that the spouse insurance is covering for the in-laws and it gets used, and the in-laws are there, you, your spouse, and up to 4 kids. So if you're saying that the spouse insurance is used to cover the deductible, that's perfectly fine. perfectly fine. You can come back and share the payment receipts for that, and that claim can be picked up in your program. But suppose your spouse has paid for your spouse's program also includes your parents or your in-laws. In that case, as long as, so what we have to understand here, the simpler way of understanding this is, super top-up programs to trigger, we need to submit payment receipts of earlier payments done up to the deductible. So yeah, as long as we pay it from the any existing insurance program or we pay it from the pocket, what needs to be submitted is the payment receipt. Payment receipt, the moment we submit, this policy can trigger. So that would be one way of answering this.
So essentially, what you are saying is that deductible means you spend that money from elsewhere. It doesn't matter whether you are spending it from another insurance or out of your pocket. All right.
Yes.
We have
And
another question.
what
Sorry.
is very, yeah, Piyush, sorry. So one more thing, what is important, and sorry, Piyush, I try to cut it. So one more thing which is very important to understand is, we need not have any existing base insurance program or in existing running insurance program. This super top-up policy can be taken on its own.
Right. I think that's what the question from Ranjit Babu is. He does not. He probably does not have parents' base policy. So it will cover insurance beyond the deductible. So let's say by any chance parents are are hospitalized and there's an expense of 7 lakh while the deductible is 3 lakh. That means 4 lakh can be utilized from the super top up and 3 lakh will be utilized from the base insurance policy. Amazing. I think we have answered many of the questions. Sarthak has another question. So Sarthak says, I have my employer policy of 5 lakh and my parents have a medical policy of 10 lakhs. This is an example. How much deductible should I consider? That's actually an amazing question because most of the people will be struggling on selection. Should I go for a low deductible, which has a higher price or premium, or should I go for a higher deductible with a lower premium cost? So I think this question is certainly will be helpful for everyone to make a decision in terms of what pricing should we choose.
Thanks, Piyush. Very fantastic question, Sarthak. So ideally, if you have an employer policy of 5 lakhs and your parents have a medical policy of 10 lakhs, this time IIM Kozhikode Alumni Association is giving you the flexibility of choosing a different sum insured for yourself or for your immediate family combination and a different family sum insured for your parents and in-laws. So in that case, ideally what you can do here is that for and another very interesting thing that we need to understand on insurance is not everything gets paid. There's something called consumables, which is like, the bandages, the gloves, the food, all those things do not get paid. So if you have an existing policy of 5 lakhs, I will recommend choose a deductible which is slightly lower than that, because something which doesn't get paid might get picked up here if you have. So for you, I think the ideal example, with understanding that we have deductible options of 3, 5, 7, and 10, I would recommend for yourself, you choose the 3 lakh deductible option and a higher sum insured. For your parents, if they are covered up to 10 lakhs, choose a 5 lakh deductible option. And accordingly, you might choose a sum insured as deemed fit for you. Piyush, over to you.
There's one more question from Renu Kumar. I think this is again a question which we will be covering later on, but let me just pause here and ask the question. What about seriously critical condition? If someone has got a heart operation years back, will that person be eligible for 3 lakh deductible? Should we answer it now, or we can cover it later as well? Mohan?
I think
It
Piyush,
pertains
let's
to current as well as
park
future.
this question. I'm making a
Okay, all right.
correct.
And
So let
question,
us park
can we
this
have?
question. I'm making a
Yes,
note of this. We will come back once we are done.
sure. Raghu Vishwanath asks, can we have different deductible amount for all three types?
Yes, the answer is yes. We can. So this time, IIM Kozhikode Alumni Association was able to bring in that different deductible choice and option. So please do run your permutation combinations. The plan is platform is going to be open shortly. We will come to know about it. You can do permutation combinations in that, check your premiums and all, and then accordingly make an informed decision and choice.
All right. I think we have all the questions now from the
Yes, please.
deductibles. Let's move ahead to the next section, Bodhayan.
Okay, so what I'm trying to do now is I'm trying to share my screen for talking about the product part of it. So what all things are covered in this basically, and how are we able to do that? So just give me a minute. I'm just trying to share across the product.
There was one more question meanwhile. Why is there a deductible? I think we explained it. Or let me explain it once again for Sandeep Chaudhary while you share the screen. So we are introducing deductibles in, not we are
Yeah.
introducing, but Super Top Up has deductible. The purpose of the Super Top Up is to cover for uh, critical and very costly emergencies that happen at times when somebody gets ill and the expenses are of the tune from the tune of say from 10 lakh to 50 lakh. Those are the times when we need to spend a big amount of money in hospital. And so super top up does not cover the initial 3 lakh or 5 lakh or let's say 7 lakh or 10 lakh, which is the initial amount, which can be at most of the time, which we can bear without much of a problem. So passing on the risk to insurer beyond 5 lakh or 10 lakh or beyond the deductible amount reduces the premium of the policy to a greater extent. So it generally will not cover day to day or smaller hospitalizations, let's say for childbirth, or let's say for a small surgery, lump surgery, it might not be required. While if someone is hospitalized for a month, or someone is has a open heart surgery which is complicated and is costing beyond 10 15 lakh, in those cases the financial burden becomes very very high, and the intention of super top up is to take care of the bigger financial burdens rather than smaller and more frequent illnesses. And that was the inspiration when we were doing several campaigns to collect money for several of our alumni, and we end up doing that most of the time. So with super top up we reduce that frequency. Of course we will not be able to stop that 100%, but we will reduce that frequency to a greater extent. So this gives us financial reduces the financial risk and financial stability in case of bigger exigencies. I think that's the purpose. Over to you, Balan.
Thanks, Piyush. Perfectly set on that context. So I've shared the screen. So what we will talk about here on the product side of it would be the product that we have. I'm just trying to check. Piyush, can you see this on the screen? I
No,
have
not
shared the
yet.
screen. Is it?
I think
Yeah,
it's coming up.
yeah. I think it's coming up. Yeah. On the product side, if I talk about, we will talk about the IIMK Code Alumni Association Super Top Up Medical Program here. And what needs to be understood is first, who all can be covered. So self, spouse, up to 4 children, they can be covered in one category. LGBTQ partner also getting covered in the same category. Up to 2 parents, the second category, and up to 2 parent-in-laws, the third category. So ideally, if you look at insurance programs in the market, it is very difficult to get both set of parent and in-laws insured. Other than your employer is providing that, it becomes very difficult to get that. And this insurance program, what needs to be also understood is that the first thing that we try and do is a comparison on the rate, because India is a very price sensitive market. Even if you go for buying vegetables, we will negotiate. Even if you go for buying a suit, we will still negotiate. We are Indians. With due respects there, when we try and negotiate on rates in terms of the premium that we are paying, what we should also look at is what is on offer. Is it an apple to apple comparison that we're trying to do? And on that, is there a rate comparison that we look at? So ideally, this program has certain coverages or features which are not readily available in the market. Until and unless I am in an insurance program run by my employer, and that also to this level of sum insureds, employers don't offer. So when we look at the kind of coverages which is there, and the first such coverage is the pre-existing disease waiting period of 1 year. If I need to, so that's one of the most important points, because if you go out in the retail market, you will see products which are available with pre-existing disease waiting periods ranging from 3 to 4 years. That's there. So the PED wait period getting waived off means a lot of things can come in and we can start and claim on that from our side, from our point of view. Second point, which is very important, is this policy does not have any medicals. So when I say it does not have any medicals, it means that if I need to go, say beyond 45 years, if somebody needs to go and do a medical test, take an insurance program, they will be asked to appear for a medical test. Upwards of 50, definitely they'll be asked to go for a medical test. So what happens when we go and buy insurance in the market? It happens that we are only able to buy insurance maybe up to 45 years without medicals. The rest of the family moves into medicals. Medical mein kuch na kuch, something or the other comes up. They will either ask for a higher premium or they might reject. So all those things come in, and then it becomes very difficult, basically, to get all of them insured in the program. Now, first point, there is the pre-existing disease waiting period of only 1 year. It's not there in the market. Second point, very important, straight entry into the program without medicals. However, there was a critical illness question. This year, the insurer has come back and has given us a list, which will be a no-no. We will, come back and explain more on that. Extremely chronic cases will not get picked up. But having said that, if we understand that normal diabetes, hypertension, all these cases, they all get under medical purview and all. In this case, all those can be picked up. Zero PED, 1 year PED. The one who are already there in this program, the existing people, they can come in at zero PED, zero wait period PED. So for them, the gates are going to open up in terms of decide on what claims you would want to flow in here. Pardon me. So this is something which is phenomenal and which is not there in the market. Also, another thing which we would like to highlight as one of the key product coverages would be the sum insureds in this program. And they range from basically 10 lakhs to 1 crore. So if you look at the age criteria on your screen as on 31st March, if you see the entry age brackets, let's talk about that. Self and spouse, the maximum age at entry should be 65 years. So self would be alumni in this case. So alumni and spouse, the maximum age at entry is 65 years. For children, it's 91 days to 24 years. For parent and in-laws, the entry age, minimum entry age is 51 and maximum entry age is 85. Any medical checkup required before buying the policy? No. The policy tenure is of 1 year and the premium payment is yearly, annually once. Do we have cashless facility? Yes, we have cashless facility. We have reimbursement facility also. So ideally, you might come back and ask me a question. I'm going to answer it right here, that how does a cashless trigger in case of a super topper program? So ideally, in case of high bill amounts, the hospital will themselves come back and seek whether you have multiple insurance programs. In that case, you simply need to talk about this and submit your e-cards. And then they will only put a double cashless request. One would be to your base, the other one would be to your top up. Anywhere you require any kind of assistance, Zopper would be helping you out. So there's a helpline email ID, which you would be either writing to it or you would be having that helpline email ID, which I will showcase. And at the same point of time, you can write it down also. IIMK health plan @zopperinsurance.com. You will get that email ID also at the end of this brochure that I'm trying to show you. So don't, in case you don't make a note of it, you will still get it. Don't worry, this helpline email ID you can write back. So now if you look at cashless and reimbursement options, both are there. If you look at the available sum insured options, so for me, if I am well covered up to say 30 lakhs, I might look at a higher sum insured. If I am well covered up to say 5 lakhs, I might look at a lower sum insured. So that choice of sum insured option is there. Ideally, when you choose your sum insured options, I would only want to highlight one point. that as we have inflation in this world, we have a concept called medical inflation also in this world. And medical inflation is upwards of 20% year on year. It does not map inflation. It is something which runs on its own. And one way of looking at a medical inflation cost would be that the cost of one particular ailment, say if it is 1 lakh, next year it will be 1 lakh 20 straight away. That's how. And if depending on the hospital, it might go up further. This is called medical inflation. And what needs to be understood is, do I want to pay it from my pocket, sell my house in case of something, or sell my assets, or do I need to have a proper risk coverage with me which can take care of it? And Super Top Up is a program which Piyush also highlighted. It takes care of these kind of critical things which hits us, and at the same point of time safeguards us from any kind of these kind of adverse scenarios. Now, this time, if you look at the deductible options, they're more flexible. We have a 3, 5, 7, and 10 lakh deductible option. Make a conscious choice in terms of how you would want to do it. Room rent. Now, what is very interesting is the room rent capping in this case is in the case of a normal, is a single private AC room. So normally in insurance policies, you will find 1% of sum insured, 2% of sum insured. And when you're getting into a hospital, it becomes very difficult to understand if I am covered for 5 lakhs, 1% means 5,000. So I have to get into a 5,000 rupees room. What happens if I get into a room cost of higher limits? What needs to be understood here, that if I get into a room cost which is upwards of my insurance policy permitted, what will happen is the bill also gets adjusted upwards in the particular percentage. I'll give you a small example. Suppose my room rent eligibility is 5,000 rupees in a normal policy definition. I get into a room of 10,000 and I choose that room and I say, no, I can't stay in that 5,000 room. I need to get into this 10,000 room, suite hai and all, whatever it is. So what is my normal understanding? That if I stay in the hospital for 5 nights, 5 into extra 5,000 is 25,000 that I'll have to shell out from my pocket. And I'm pretty okay in doing that. But how the bill would get inflated in that case, it's called pro rata, and how it would be done, and proportionately the bill is going to improve or increase. That if the bill amount for that ailment in that 5,000 rupees room was say 2 lakh, it will become 10 lakh. It's exactly a 100% jump. So 5,000 over 10,000, 100% jump. This is also a 100% jump. Now, when we come to understand this, that is where the room rent definition becomes very, very important. So when I look at the final bill, I get a shocker that I have to pay 2 lakhs from my pocket, though I have some insured coverage and everything, just because I chose a different room. In this case, what we have done is we have taken away the confusion and we have made the single normal room as a single private AC room. So 99.99% of the hospitalizations are planned. When you're planning a hospitalization, tell them that you need their single private AC room. That's it. No questions asked and no proportionate billing and all, anything happening. ICU is completely on actuals because ICU is emergency. In that case, whatever is the ICU cost will totally get picked up. So these couple of things are fantastic in this program. Daycare treatments, yes, covered. Inpatient hospitalizations, covered. Pre-post hospitalizations are also covered, 60 and 90 days. In the case of pre, is before getting into the hospital, there might be some medical cost and all, that gets picked up. Post coming back, that gets also picked up. Hospitalization at home, which is called domiciliary hospitalization, is also covered, but if it is continuous for a period exceeding 3 consecutive days. Ambulance, yes, 5,000 rupees per hospitalization. Donor expenses, yes, covered up to sum insured. Now, the concept of donor expenses is very important to understand. That, for example, there's a kidney transplant to happen. Now, for that kidney transplant to happen, somebody has to come and donate that kidney. In that case, if that person is living and we take out that kidney from that person, medical cost gets picked up here. So that donor expenses cost gets picked up here up to the sum insured, and that's part of, again, a beautiful benefit. Now, what we need to understand, and I've talked about that earlier, waiting period. The waiting period is 30 days. It's a cooling period, except for injuries and accident. All policies as per IDA have this waiting period. Specific disease and pre-existing disease waiting period is 12 months. There is no waiting period in case of renewal. So all of you who had enrolled yourself last year is going to have a 0-day PED this year as you renew. One point which needs to be understood is, suppose I was an IIMK alumni who had taken this program last year, and maybe I had chosen a 50 lakh sum insured. This is a question only on sum insured to understand. I'm not quoting the deductible. Deductible can be anything. I chose a 50 lakh sum insured. Now this time I come into the program and I say, chalo, I am getting a 0-day PED. Let me go for a 75 lakh or a 1 crore sum insured. What needs to be understood is the sum insured that I have chosen last year, 50 lakhs, for example, will have a 0-day PED. Any sum insured that I choose over and above this for this year will still have a 1-year wait period. So when I choose, in this example, 50 lakh, I choose 1 crore. In this case, 50 lakhs will have a 0-day PED and 50 lakhs will have a 1-year wait period. So this is for the sake of people who are, who would be enrolling and how you would be enrolling. Now, the premium charts are all shared in this case, so I will quickly skip this part and stop sharing the screen again and quickly pass it back to Piyush.
Sorry,
Piyush, you're
I'm
on mute.
muted.
Yeah.
Yep. So thank you, Badain. Many of the questions are answered. We are getting a flurry of questions on the YouTube comments. There was one point in terms of coverage which was remaining. There are times when we have lost few of our alumni, and they have the family. So we are covering the family when the alumni passes away. So this is something which is different from the regular corporate insurance, where the family is covered only till the time the employee is alive or working with the company. Here, in this insurance, we will cover family of the alumni if the alumni passes away. This is something new that we have introduced this time, and we have received a couple of interest. We are also covering faculty members this time onwards, and so this is another addition in the policy for this time. So now we can take up more questions on that have come. I think on the coverage side. So one question that has come is there's uh, there's no mention of a plan which only covers self and spouse only. All plans are for self and spouse are with children. Uh, so any comments on that, Bodhan? I think you will be explaining the underwriting piece over here.
You can. Yeah.
Okay. Yeah, please go ahead.
Yeah. So in this case, the rate chart is for, yeah, Piyush. Thank you. So in this case, you will be able to choose self, you will be able to choose self plus spouse, you will be able to choose self plus spouse for 1 child and 2 child, 3 child, 4 child. So ideally, when you choose it, you will see that the rates have been designed in a way. So how the actuarial pricing happens, we have to understand here, which Piyush was trying to highlight. That one point, very interesting, is that this is a selection policy, which means that if IIM Kozhikode Alumni Association has, say, 10,000 alums, for example, discussion sake, I know you have more alums, 10,000 le lete hain for discussion sake. And out of that, only 1,000 or 2,000 comes in. And out of that, so this is something called selection, which is normally not permitted in a group insurance program. But the beauty of this program that we have been able to design is it's a selection-based program. And we are also trying to strike a balance on the rates. Now, having said that, you will see the rate chart of 2 adult plus 4 child, but you can add yourself and spouse, and the calculator will also throw you a premium. Yeah, Piyush.
So that's well explained. There are people who are single. There are people who don't have parents but have parent-in-law. Is it possible that they cover parent-in-law and not cover parent since they are not there? Or even when they are there, will they be eligible to cover just parent-in-law and not parents?
I'm sorry, Piyush, I lost you for some time. Can you please repeat the question?
Okay. So there are cases when, in terms of coverage, the alumni is either single or alumni has case one alumni is single, so alumni and parents. Second case is alumni does not have parent but in-laws are there. So can they cover in-laws before covering or without covering parents? You able to get me?
Piyush, I think you would want to answer this.
Okay, all right. So let me answer
Yeah, yeah.
this.
I'm saying I think you would want to answer this.
Okay, all right. There are essentially the coverage is in terms of three policies. One is for alumni, spouse, and kids. Spouse also covers LGBTQ partner. Kids can be your natural born kids as well as adopted kids. So that covers that set of people is covered by first policy. Second set of policy is only for parents, and third set of policy is only for parents-in-law. So we have three policies essentially. Uh, the two policies, the policy of parent and the policy of parent-in-law, is dependent on the first policy. So it is mandatory to have first policy. Uh, you can buy second, or you can buy third, or you can buy both of them. This is up to you. The only exceptional case is when alumni has passed away, alumni is deceased, and alumni was not married at that point of time. So only parents are part of the family. So in that case, parent will be covered by default without covering alumni. Or if the alumni was married, then the legally married spouse has to cover mandatorily, and they can cover both parent as well as parent-in-law in that case. I hope my answer is clear.
Yeah, thanks, Piyush. And also to add to this would be that if both the parents are alive, we need to cover both of them, both parents, both in-laws.
Right. Thank you. Otherwise, we cannot add the next parent at later point of time. It is mandatory essentially. If
Yes.
So, you cannot cover just one parent. You Just one parent. You will have to cover both the parents or both the parents-in-law, but only one parent if the other is alive. That is not allowed in the policy. We have a question from Deepak Bala. Is the age of insured considered
And
as today for calculation of premium, or the age considered when the person joins for first time? So there's an example given here. If the
so
person
the
was
age
40,
calculation is age as,
go ahead, Brian.
yeah, Piyush, sorry. Yeah, so the calculation of age that the insurance industry follows is age as last birthday. So if I am 41 years, 6 months now, or 41 years, 11 months now, it will still take it as 41 years. That's the age calculation. So when you look into the grid, you will look into the age as last birthday wala grid.
Okay. All right. We have next question from Dhruv Gaur. Are the porting of the policy, are we allowed to port the policy? That's first. And if it is allowed, are porting, then is the bonus transferred?
So porting is not possible. Understanding this is a group retail kind of a program in this case. And second is this policy doesn't have a bonus. So both these things are possible on a retail program normally. So bonus is also not available here. So there's no question of transferring bonus.
Okay. Tarun asked, is this will fall under third party TPA point of view? So I don't think that we have a TPA. The insurer itself will be the kind of TPA who will adjudicate the claim in insurance language, or who will work on the claim
Yeah.
and accept or reject accordingly. We have questions
Right.
from Krishna Prasad. Is it possible to increase the super top up coverage while renewing? Let's say enrolled as sum insured for parents and group as 50 lakh, and later on renewal, can we increase it to 75 lakh or once a year? I think this is a bigger question where we can answer just not for the increase but also for reduction. So Bodhain, over to you.
So ideally, you can increase your sum insured, and I talked about this some minutes back, if you remember, that if you're coming in this program, choose a higher sum insured to be fair, because next year, if you want to increase your sum insured, on that you will still have to pass on that 1 year pre-existing disease wait period on your increased sum insured part, which I give that example of 50 lakhs and 1 crore. But yes, to answer it, yes, it is possible to reduce. Piyush, would you want to answer that?
Yes. So last year we did not
Reduction of
allow
sum
reduction.
insured. Would you want to answer that?
Yes. My apologies. I think there is a lag in the streaming, so you might see both of us overlap. So again, answering this question, uh, uh, essentially last year we did not allow reducing the premium. We allowed only increasing the premium, and the reason for that was essentially if users might reduce at a time when they see that insurance is costly, and might want to increase when they see that someone is going to get ill very soon in the family. So when the risk seems to increase, people generally tend to increase their sum insured, while at the other time, this is a general behavior, by the way. However, when we have added the waiting period of 1 year, not 4 year or 7 years as it is there in the market, that generally takes care of increase or reduction of the sum insured. So essentially, when you do an additional, as Bodhayan explained, when you do additional increase or additional reduction as compared to the previous year, that additional increase will have a waiting period for 1 year. So it is very difficult to see a risk, a health risk or medical risk beyond 1 year. So that will generally take care of such behavior. I would strongly suggest and request all of you to select policies as you see the risk for your family, and as you see, so not kindly do not select the premiums or sum insured from the perspective of expenses, but from the perspective of coverages of risk. So that's what I would like to request. Do not increase or reduce only on the basis of premium, because premium is a cost that we have to bear for the well-being of our family members, and well-being is of the utmost important. A few rupees here and there is okay to spend, and it's always good to figure out what is the sum insured that is required from the risk and from the age perspective also, from health as well as age perspective. We can get a good indication of what amount is apt or good for our parents. So this is
Thanks, Piyush. One point. One point here, Piyush, that I would like to add also is that we have to ourselves as alums understand the concept of selection, and we should try and avoid doing it. I'm not saying we do it, but normally what happens is that if I see that one of my family member can be removed from the insurance program this year, and I intend to bring that family member next year again at the enrollment because I see some kind of medical expenses coming up, we should try and avoid doing that. And one point is that will not be allowed in this program. If we take out any family member from the insurance selection, you will not be able to add them back. That is one point. And second, also, even if in the case of a fresh enrollment, we should look at providing holistic risk coverage to the entire family instead of picking and choosing people within the family.
Thanks for that. We had one more question, which was around request of the base insurance policy. Till now, I think this is the second year of the insurance, and we started with the purpose of providing security against bigger exigencies. Now, for a base insurance, we will come back with a survey where we will check how many alumni are interested in taking a base insurance. If we have enough number of people who are interested, we will certainly look forward to it. We are also working on looking for life insurance as well as accident insurance. So once we are done with super top up, we will come back to you with more questions in terms of requirement, in terms of interest, and then we'll work on all these kind of all three kind of policies. For each of us. Can we have the next question? Sudarshan asked that his mother is on regular dialysis. Will this policy help me with cashless or daycare charges? And how will there be a copay amount?
Yeah. So first thing is certain kidney-related ailments might come up as an exclusion. So we will need to understand that first point. But suppose she's admitted in this policy. Yes, cashless is allowed, and daycare treatments are also allowed in this. There is no co-payment in this program.
Okay.
Over to
And
you,
how
Piyush.
does that calculation occur? As I understand, dialysis is might be costing a few thousand rupees for each dialysis. So if the copay is, let's say, 3 lakh, then how is it going to pay for dialysis? Can we do that calculation? I think there were a few questions around that as well, apart from this one. So if you can throw some light on the calculation and how dialysis will be covered, it will be good for.
So,
Uh,
so I, yeah, yes, Piyush. So, if we take the example of dialysis, what we have to only understand here is up to the deductible, the payment receipts for that particular ailment or hospitalization needs to be submitted. Once that is done, then the additional bills can quickly move into as a cashless or as a reimbursement, how we would want it. So, what is more important here is to understand that kidney dialysis per transaction or per dialysis might be 15,000, 20,000, 30,000, depending on which hospital I go. That is not immaterial. What is important here to understand is up to the deductible, I have to submit the payment receipts. Beyond that, everything will get picked up. That's the best way to look at this program.
okay.
Yes, Piyush,
Is there
over to
a
you.
yes? I think this is a good explanation. We have question from Korean. Can we take it only for parents-in-law when parents alive? I think we answered this question. You can. Sujit asked, is there any NCB discount? Sorry, this is question from Dipanshu. Are there any NCB, which is no claim bonus discount? So essentially, let me answer this. No claim bonus is for retail policies. From practical perspective, so there are no NCB discounts. However, from a group at a group level, NCB is essentially built into the in the rates that we are negotiating. So essentially, if we have very high number of claims, our cost will increase drastically. If we have low number of claims this year, then we will be able to negotiate at a lower rates from the insurer. And that also the rates also depend on several other things like what is the market rates which are going on, what is the general demography of the population that we are covering, what is the old set of people who are there, essentially who are going to renew, and what are the new sets of people who are coming. So all those factors built in, it is more of a negotiated policy where NCB is kind of built in the negotiated rates for the entire group together. And and yeah, so if all of us keep healthy, I think our premiums will go down, and if we don't keep much healthy, then yes, our rates will go up. We have a question from Korean Joseph. Please advise on cashless. How does the company validate deductible paid? I think this you already answered. In single admission and planned admission. Do you want to take it up once again? How does validation occur? So validation occurs essentially through the invoices which are shared. Uh,
So
However, I
when
think
you,
question
yeah,
on cashless is important. Like, let's say if somebody is hospitalized, and I have two policies. One is 5 lakh policy, and I have this super topper, which is 5 lakh deductible. Now, which one should I claim first? Which one should I use for claiming first, and which one should I use for claiming later? There can be several situations. My hospitalization bill is going to, let's say, 35 lakh, or there may be a situation where my hospitalization bill is only 7 lakh rupees. So how should I proceed? Generally, hospitals, my experience is generally hospitals say that will work only on one insurance policy. Other you go and get reimbursed. So with that scenario in mind, I think let's maybe this question will help alumni use the policy appropriately. Were you able to get my question, Bodhayan?
Piyush, I'm sorry, there was a bit of a network issue. So, do you want me to take this question, Piyush? Nishant's question?
Before that, I think so. The question that I asked, are you able to hear me, Bodhayan?
I can hear you now. I can hear you now.
Okay, all right. So so the question before this, we had a question before this. The question was, how do we treat the policy in the case of cashless scenario? There can be different cases. Case one, I have a deductible of 5 lakh, and I have a policy. I have two policies. One is a base policy, and the second is a super top up. Now there can be different cases. I made a claim of total 7 lakh. I made a claim of 35 lakh. Now, which one should I use in the hospital first? Should I use a super top up first? Should I use the base policy first? So that I am at much more ease during the hospitalization. Was I
Piyush, I'm
clear?
not able to hear you. I would.
Okay, let me just check if other people are able to hear me or not. Kindly comment if you are able to hear me clearly.
Yes, I can hear you now, Piyush. Can you hear me?
Okay, yes, I can. Uh, Okay. So maybe okay. So people are able to hear me. Let me answer this question. The question was on cashless claims. So there can be, so if you have taken a 5 lakh deductible super top up, which is IIMK super top up, and there's a base policy which is, let's say, 5 lakh base policy. Now what, it depends on the claim that you are making. So if you are making a claim of 7 lakh, that means 5 lakh will be covered from the base policy, which is a bigger amount, and rest of the 2 lakh will be covered from the top up policy. So you make the base policy claim first, and from super top up you make a reimbursement claim. However, if the expenses are much higher, say 35 lakh, in that case, you claim from the super top up first, which is 35 lakh, and make a smaller claim, which is of 5 lakh at a later point of time from the base policy. Otherwise, it will be difficult. Most of the time, what happens is hospitals, as a practice, only accept one policy for claim, and they ask us to claim from the second policy at a later point of time. I've not seen many hospitals who will help you in supporting two claims from two different policies, and that is a problem with the hospital generally. So if your claim amount is very very high, go and use the super top up for cashless. If your claim amount is smaller, use your base policy first and do the reimbursement later from the second policy. Let's take the next question. Are all So Renu asked, what about seriously critical condition? If someone got a heart operation years back, will he be eligible for 3 lakh deductible? You want to take it up, Bodhayan?
Yeah. I hope I'm audible now. I've just switched off my video because there's some network issue happening here.
Yes.
I
Meanwhile,
hope
I'll
I'm
show.
audible.
Yes, you are.
Okay. Yeah. So for seriously critical conditions, there is a list which is a no-no list. We will share across that on that. And if someone has a heart operation years back, so we would like to understand how critical it was, not us, the insurer. And from that position, we would be able to come back with this. So for to answer Renu, yes, there is a critical illness list which insurers have put in as a negative list this time, and we will not be able to take in any fresh people who would be having these or who would be falling under these categories.
uh, and those are very super critical.
Yes, Piyush, over to you.
Not all simple conditions, but very critical conditions. So we will be sharing that list of very very critical conditions where people are already visiting hospitals and spending money. This is where insurer our policy claim will go beyond what the premium we are paying. So insurer has come back with a list of very very critical conditions. We will be sharing with you. So a heart condition at time might not be a critical condition, and another heart condition might be very critical condition. So as of now, I would say we will be able to cover most of the people. While we get the final list, we will be sharing it. Can we have the next question? Nishant, my last year policy says it's a top-up plan. Even Care also confirmed that it is not a super top-up plan. I wrote multiple emails to Zopper too, but of no use. Why this error is not yet rectified? I think, Nishant, I'm sorry for bad experience. Uh, maybe so we have an answer to that. Bodhain, do you want to take it up?
Yeah. Yeah. So Nishant, your policy is a super top-up. Care के definition में a top-up and a super top-up is same. So I would request here that if you have any queries, please route it to us. Ideally, this is a super top-up program. If you need any clarifications on that, do write back to us. If you directly write to Care, they have no idea of this product because this is a product which has been specifically configured for IIM Cozy Code by Care and Zopper. So if you call up their regular call center, they would give you a retail call center. They would give you in terms of what product ideas they have on the retail side of it. So for any questions pertaining to this specific product, please write back to us. We will help you. This is a super topper product to reiterate, and a super topper product is the one product wherein you can come back and claim on multiple claims and cross the deductible only once in a policy year. Yes, Piyush, over to you.
All right. Sameer asked, what is the hospital room eligibility for the super top-up? All costs are factored in the of hospital rooms, and hence asking.
So we talked about this, Piyush, that the hospital room eligibility is a single private AC room, and ICU is on actuals.
All right. Uh, we have more questions. Is deductible counted in a daycare charge too, like dialysis? Yes. The answer is yes, which means after total expense of 3 lakh, policy would trigger. Yes, Samir. Unless you
Correct.
are enrolling for
Yeah.
the first time in this year, it will be a and it is a pre-existing condition, then you will not be able to claim that. But if you were covered last year, so that means dialysis is covered this year because there is no waiting period now. In that case, you will be able to uh, uh, claim the cost of dialysis. Do we have yeah. Rajesh? Is it mandatory to have a base insurance from somewhere for parents? No, it's not mandatory. Base insurance is not linked to super top up. It can work independently. Abhi, when will the insurance start beginning being in force? So, Bodhain, you want to answer this?
Yeah. So the insurance policy will get triggered after we close the enrollment, and it would be within 31st of March only. For last year, some of you have your policy issuance dates in April, which would be, I think, 7th or 14th of April. Some batches are there, so your policies will get issued accordingly. For others, the policy issuance date would be tentatively 31st March.
Abhi has a concern
Yeah,
that
Piyush,
parents
over
are
to you.
covered. Abhi has a concern that his parents are covered with a covered as a government employee with a government employee scheme, and in-laws are not covered in any of the insurance. So again, it does not matter where you are covered or where you are not covered. The deductible amount can come from government scheme or from your own pocket or from any other third party insurance. You can cover your in-laws separately. You can cover your parents separately in this scheme. Is Ayush covered? I think that's a good question. Let's deep dive into that for the hand. So Ayush is essentially
Yeah,
Ayush.
so if you look at, yes, Piyush. if you look at the Ayush costs, they will not cross the deductibles primarily. So in that case, Ayush is not covered. Over to you, Piyush.
I think we are almost done with all the questions. This must be the last. For me and my wife is covered from our hospital, and children is not covered with any base plan. So again, I'll answer this one. If children are not covered, then you will have to bear the initial deductible, while rest beyond deductible, everything works in this policy. So it doesn't matter again whether you are covered or you are not covered, or your children are covered or children are not covered. First first amount of deductible has to be borne from outside this policy, whether it is your own pocket or it is another insurance. Should we move on to the next section, Bodhayan? Now we will be answering more questions.
Yeah. So I have shared. Yeah, Piyush. So I have shared the screen. If you can bring it up over there. So I've shared the presentation back. Yeah, I think it's coming up. Okay, so now coming back quickly to the changes in coverage from last year. What are the things that has changed this year? A, faculty members are getting covered. Second is family members of deceased alumni are covered, which Piyush talked about. There's a flexibility in reducing your sum insured this year. Fourth option is option for different sum insured for parent, parent-in-laws, and primary family. Now you can pick and choose between the sections. Flexibility in different deductible for each set of family. Members with extremely critical conditions will have a deductible of rupees 10 lakhs only. This is for existing members in this case. Underwriting calls from insurer will not happen, unlike last year. So what we have tried to do is we've tried to ensure that the journey becomes simpler, and insurer has come back with certain changes. So that's what we have in terms of changes in coverage from last year. Piyush, you would want to add anything to the changes?
I think this is perfect.
Okay, thanks. Now, quickly moving on to the next slide. So the registration process talks about, there'll be an enrollment window which will get opened up in a day or two, and you will get all information in terms of, how you will how you will be able to enroll. Once you do that, there'll be a lot of iterations in terms of data at our end. Post that, we, submit that to the insurer with the final payment. You will make the payment to IIM Kozhikode Alumni Association, and IIM Kozhikode Alumni Association will make one shot payment to the insurer, and post the ratification of data, the policy is going to get issued. You want to add anything here, Piyush?
Just adding that we alumni will have to log in through the alumni portal, and from there the journey starts. So it is the journey is quite smooth, and you we will when we open the window, essentially after logging into the alumni portal, you will be able to enroll, give entire information which is required, and then make the payment. So for that, we will be sharing the process along with the screenshots just to help you out. Even though it is highly intuitive, we will share another document for you to if you have any questions or doubts.
Yes. So if you move on to so this is sort of policy performance, which talks about how many alumni had taken the policy last year, 682. 239 parents and in-laws came in. Total number of lives insured was 2,715, and claims settled was 19 lakhs. That's the total policy performance. So ideally, many of the claims which were exclusions from 1 year PD had also come in. And this year we expect that there's a big amount of population which will come in terms of 0-day PD. So quickly on the FAQs, is this amount in the table inclusive of GST? Yes, it includes GST. About plan expansions in future, we have brought in a deductible of 10 lakhs this time. If you select an amount of coverage of 50 lakh, can we increase, decrease? We have tried to answer it. Yes, you can. Will it allow cashless? Yes, it will allow cashless. We are not able to select different top-up amounts. So in this case, you will be able to select this year, and you can claim for Section 80 under Section 80D for tax benefit. Quickly, how is the age calculated? So age of the elder member will be considered for calculating, and age as last per day. These are two things that you should look at. Then look at the table, or you can quickly go to the alumni portal once it's up, and then click, click, click. You'll be able to see your premiums and all. To claim 80D for parent insurance, you can get a certificate of the premium, but ideally, even if you submit the policy, you can claim an 80D benefit out of that. Can we add, remove parent in-laws at a later date? Yes, you can do them. You can remove them, but you will not be able to add them back in the policy. Can we buy the policy only for parents? It is mandatory for you to buy the plan for yourself as an alumni, and then you can bring in your parents. So ideally, yeah. So I think Piyush, we are sort of done with the presentation, and we can look at the next set of questions.
All right. So let's have more questions on the screen. Abby asked, I think this we covered already. For OPD session like dialysis where there's a continuous monthly visit, does the super top up cover this after the waiting period is over? Yes, we answered this question. Next. What if children are more than 20 years of age? So we are not covering those. Only up till essentially children, as soon as they are independent or when they get an employment, ideally they should be out of the policy because now they can take care of themselves. However, as a standard, we have taken that 24 years of age as a standard. Many times, insurance policies say that either they are dependent on you or they are up till 18 years or 20 years or 24 years of age. So here we have only taken, even if they get independent before that, it's fine. Can we take a base plan from the same provider? Yes, you are free to choose base plan from the same provider. This will help you expedite the claim. You can use both the policies at the same time. Uh, the insurer will be, the process will be a bit more smoother. Vinod asked, does the super top up cover consumables and other things during hospitalization? I think that's a good question. Badhan, over to you.
Yeah, so this super top-up will not cover consumables because consumables, as per IDA, sort of doesn't get paid, and it's approximately around 5 to 10% of the bill amount, which is there, which is basically the gloves charges, the powder charges, the food, and all those things. So this will not cover consumables, but other things ke andar it can pick up doctor charges and all those things will get picked up. But the consumables typically will not get covered. Over to you, Pete.
Next, Girish asks, so if I need a policy, if I need to take a policy for my immediate family, my parents and my parents-in-law, then I need to take three different policies. Is that understanding correct? So see, policy it is policy construct from legal or paperwork perspective. You don't need to do anything. The process will actually give you three policies as an output. We could have done a single policy for all the members. However, insurer, it is up to the insurer whether they want to do three policies or one policy. The same thing happens in corporate also. At times they combine all family members in a single policy. At times they give separate policy for parents and separate policy for rest of the family. So this is a division into policy is more from analysis and underwriting perspective. So legally you will get three policies and you will get three different documents. That's all. So nothing to worry from the process perspective. Ashwin asked, assuming we take a deductible of 5 lakh for my father and 5 lakh for self, will super top up for my family only kick in if we have already spent 5 lakh exclusively for my dad? Yes, this is a good question. Bodhain?
Yeah. So, Ashwin, in this case, your policy combination, you, your spouse, and up to four kids, any one of you crossing the deductible, that policy will trigger. And for your fathers, the policy combination, your father and mother, the policy combination is different, understanding both of them are together in the policy. In that case, they will have to cross the deductible on their claim and then bring in and then start using this policy. And same will apply for your parent-in-law's policy also if you opt for that.
So essentially, what I think from that perspective, choosing a deductible becomes again an important decision. If you see that someone is more risk or the health is not that great, take a lower deductible. And if you see that your health is quite good, maybe you can take higher deductible for yourself, so that on the whole you don't make much expenses when, let's say, both are hospitalized at the same time or in the same year. Ramaswamy asked, does this cover pre-existing diseases? For example, a person diagnosed with stage 1 cancer and is cured. So I think we have a tentative answer as of now, not complete answer. So let's talk about it, both.
Yeah, so we have a pre-existing disease negative list, which is there. So, if I have diabetes and hypertension, for example, I will be able to come into this policy because it is not that critical a pre-existing disease, but I will have a wait period of 1 year. Diabetes, hypertension is just an example. But if you look at a cancer case would be like something on the critical side of it. And we have a negative list with us where cancer is one of the negative lists. In that case, we might not be able to bring that person into the program.
This is for new
Yeah,
enrollment,
Piyush, over to you.
not for already existing one. This is for new enrollment. We will be sharing a list
Right.
of very, very critical condition. Maybe we are still working with insurer on that list. The list is not yet finalized. We are trying to push the insurer to have the minimum list and only containing very, very critical condition. Let's say for cancer, if we say that person had cancer 5 years back and now person is healthy, then probably that list, that person will be included in the policy. Or a person who is already undergoing a treatment for cancer, which is stage 4, that becomes much more critical. So that discussion is still in pipeline with the insurer. We are trying to get as many people within the policy as possible. So you will hear from us on the final list in coming next 2 or 3 days. Dope Soul. I have a health insurance in Family Floater of my husband's plan. Do I need an individual insurance to avail the top up? No, you don't need any insurance to avail the top up. Next question. Can you please explain the table plan BCD? Let's do that. So we'll have to share. Meanwhile, we can take the next question while we share the screen. Kiran Jot, will pre-existing condition be covered without waiting period in case of renewal? Do congenital condition have a cooling or waiting period? That's a coverage question.
Yeah. So hi, Kiran. How are you? I think to answer your first question, yes, pre-existing conditions will be covered without waiting period in case of renewal. I understand you had picked this policy up last year. I think we spoke over also a couple of times. Yes, your pre-existing diseases waiting period will be 0-day PED. Congenital conditions, ideally, in case until unless it's a life-threatening condition, it will not get picked up in any insurance program. So in this case also, it will have this condition. Over to you, Piyush.
Okay. Next question, please. I recommend IIMK team to negotiate for a base plan and super double plan with the provider for benefit for few employees who may not have any insurance coverage for their in-laws. Sure, Ravi, good suggestion, and we talked that we'll do a survey and we'll come back on that. Next question. Devanjan, are there any carve out related to natural calamities, war, force majeure, etc.? So again, amazing question.
Yeah. So war, force majeure, these things are all by default exclusions in insurance, and they will be, you will see them as a part of standard guideline. But super top up में hospitalization arising out of any accident is covered, so ideally shouldn't be a problem for you.
By the way, Devanjan is a very famous singer, and he wrote, penned down, and sung an amazing song for IIM Kozhikode, "Badlon mein class लगती है." So next time we
क्या
should
बात?
have this session from Kozhikode campus.
Yes, Piyush.
Yep. Next question, please. Saurav asked, for me, this year will be renewal of the policy. Hence, if I increase the sum insured from 20 to 30, this year, whether again waiting period will be applicable for parents and in-laws. Okay. So here, I understand your parents and in-laws were covered last. If they were covered last year, the extra 10 lakh amount will have a waiting period, while 20 lakh will not have a waiting period. While if they were not covered last year, then waiting period for parents and in-laws will start from the day of first enrollment in the policy. Next question. Ashwin, if we take a deductible of 5 lakh for my father and 5 lakh for self with a super top up for my father only kick in if we have already spent 5 lakh exclusively on my dad, or is it considered cumulatively? So this we covered and answered that for each of the three policies,
Answered.
the deductible will be considered separately. That's why it is important to select appropriate deductible for each set of family. Suraj asked, is there any option to start with super top up at a date coinciding with the base policy? Very, very difficult. Starting super, but yes, we can try doing that if we are going for a base policy. And starting super top up at a different date could leave us open risk of having to pay deductible on our own. I don't think so, because once you purchase a policy, you will keep renewing both the policies, super top up as well as the base policy. So you are continuously covered. That non-coverage happens only when there's a break between two policies, between two base policies or between two super top up policies. Otherwise, it will not happen. So that break might be there only for the first time, but not for future consecutive time. Let's go to the next question. Vinod asked, we see a plan for parents and in-laws above 85 in the plan. Then why has IIMK limited it till 85, please? This is a technical question. Would you like to take it up? I think this is an important question for
Yeah.
everyone. And this is important for people whose parents are moving beyond 85 in next few years. So, yeah, over to you, Bodhain.
Yeah, thanks, Piyush. So I'll take an example to explain this. Suppose last year my dad was 85 when he came into the program. Now this year, as I come in for renewal, I will have to get an option of renewal because he is now 86. So where do I place him? So this category where you see a premium plan, which is you see above 85 years, this is for those category of people who were at the bracket age but got entry into the program, but they would continue in this program. This premium table applies for them. Over to you, Piyush. So Piyush, I have this premium chart B ready. If
Sure.
we can have it on the screen, then we can explain.
Yes, let's have that.
Yeah. So ideally, let's have the brochure on screen again, which I have shared.
Getting it up.
So, yeah. Yes, I can see it coming up now. Yeah. So ideally, plan B, C, D are only breakup. So I'll talk about plan B to explain. So if you look at plan B for two parents, parent-in-laws, in this case, the first table that you see has a 3 lakh deductible. The second table down below is a 5 lakh deductible. Let me explain. All these are including 18% GST. So this is what you will pay. So suppose, I want to go for a 30 lakh sum insured and a 3 lakh deductible. So 30 lakh sum insured and a 3 lakh deductible. This will apply for, and say my father and mother are 65 years of age. In that case, you look at the first row, 51 to 80 ka age bracket. look, go down up to 30 lakh sum insured, where you see 30 lakh, and 51 to 80, you see the coinciding premium is 26889. So if I'm covering both parents, 26889 is the premium that I'm going to pay. Now, if I choose a different deductible, say same 30 lakh sum insured, but I want a 5 lakh deductible, in that case, the premium becomes 22407. And I've already explained that looking at the age bracket, the best way to calculate age is age as last birthday. Piyush, you would want to add something here?
I think this is fine. Let's have.
Or I'll stop sharing this.
Yes.
Okay.
So let's have more questions on the screen.
Yeah.
Samir asked, does this policy cover PET dialysis after 1 year from day one? So yes, it covers after 1 year of enrollment within the policy. So if you came last year, dialysis will be covered. But if you are enrolling this year, it will be covered next year, not this year. Saurabh asked, my insurance covers only me. My sister's corporate insurance covers my parents. If I take Plan B for parents, will it work in conjecture with both my policy and my sister policy for my parents? Yes, it will work. So for us, it doesn't matter where you pay the first deductible amount. Next question. AB, why don't we ask deductible policy in addition to the super top up policy scheme also from the same provider? The volume of alumni in number is advantage to get a better offer. I did not get this question.
Piyush, I think he's asking for a base program,
Yes,
which
policy.
covers the deductible. Yeah.
So we'll come back, AB. I think we have got quite a good number of queries. We'll float a survey on the group after we are done with the super top up enrollment. Saurav asked why there are no coverages of dependent siblings. So, you want to take it up? What is the logic, Bodhayan?
Yeah. Yeah. So the logic is that technically insurance does not consider them to be part of immediate family. So that's how siblings cannot be covered in any insurance program. So that's why it's a technical glitch where there are no coverage for any dependent siblings.
By the way, Bodhayan, is it possible that we propose to the insurer and say that we want to bring real siblings in the next year policy? We'll have much more bigger number of people uh, who will be covered. Is it possible?
Piyush, I think there's some regulatory guideline around this, but if we can beat that, we can take it up with the insurer. We can definitely
Okay.
explore this.
All right. Let's be first in that also. All right. We have next question. This is covered. Ayush stream of medicine covered? No. Next question. So this is meant to augment someone with an existing policy. It isn't meant to be your main insurance policy. No, I will not say that this is augmenting with an existing policy. I would say this is augmenting. Uh, it is only to cover for bigger exigencies. That's one. Second is it is augmenting either your pocket or the other policy. So just not augmenting the other policy, but augmenting your capability to pay the deductible amount. Next question. Rahul asked, I only have a corporate mediclaim. It is recommended to have another medical policy and then take super top up. I think for this again, a logical answer would be you will keep changing your corporate as you change jobs. If you can afford to pay the base amount, let's say 3 lakh or 5 lakh or 7 lakh from your pocket, it's fine. However, if that 3 lakh, 5 lakh, or 7 lakh deductible amount will pinch you when some hospitalization occurs in the family, you should take a medical policy. From corporate side, it depends. Again, it depends. There will be times when you are not employed, and at that time there will not be any base coverage. So if during that time, again, if it pinches to spend the first deductible amount, you should take a personal medical policy. So that is generally recommended. Well, then you have any
And just to
views on
add,
this?
Yeah, yeah, Piyush. Just to add to it, that in case you want to, you should get into this Super Topper program this year. And as long as you're covered with the corporate insurance, I understand minimum 3 lakhs ka coverage hoga, which is like the base coverage normally, which is there with employers. So pick up a deductible of 3 lakhs maybe this year and start the journey. Next year, when you look at a base insurance, you might up the deductible, change the deductible, but you're still in the program. And the idea is to get into these kind of insurance programs because next year you're at 0 day PD, which means that you are now covered completely. So the idea would be to get into the program as fast or as soon as possible. Over to you,
Let's have the
Piyush.
next question. Firdos asks, Section 80D allows deduction for Mediclaim premium paid for parents. Premium paid for parents-in-law will not come under 80D. Can you allow either spouse or parents-in-law to directly pay the premium? I think that's a good question from tax saving perspective. Any views on this? I think I also have that question. No answer. I don't have an answer.
Nice. So the best way to look at this program, look at this question would be that whoever pays the premium can claim the tax benefit under that. तो अगर if I am the alum, but I swipe my wife's card, that is still done. But I can't claim tax benefit because it has been paid by my wife. That's the logic. So in that case, this is how we should look at it.
Okay. So is it not possible that I say I am claiming only for my parents and because anyway, me and my spouse are family, right? So I claim only for the premium paid for my parents, while my wife claims for premium paid for the parents-in-law. Is it possible? That can happen in cases
In the tech journey,
where
Piyush, there's only one transaction that you can make.
yeah. So online we can make only one transaction, but offline we are making. Let's say we are paying in cash. So there's no clue. There's no proof who made the payment, me or my spouse, right?
So in this case, there is no offline payment, no, Piyush. It's all online.
Right. So and I guess one point over here is probably we are the alumni is the primary holder of the policy. So
Yeah.
for that reason, parents. Uh, okay, all right. Samir asked, how is kidney dialysis covered as a part of PED or not?
So we have answered that,
Okay.
Piyush.
Vishal, yeah, Vishal asked for someone who has taken the insurance last year in 18 to 40 age block. Will the renewal be in the same age block if the person just crossed 40 years of age or before renewal? I think that's a we have to accept the reality. We are getting older, and so will the price. Price will also increase. So answer to that is no. You will your premium will be defined by your current age, which is 41. So yeah, let's have some acceptance of the reality. Uh, that's on a lighter note. Ritvik Chakravarti, when we had enrolled last year, there were no exclusions in terms of PED. Will it be applicable to renew the insurance this time if PED is within the exclusion list? Good question. So this is renewal versus new enrollment in the policy. What do you Badhan?
Yeah. So Ritvik, understanding that you had enrolled last year, there are no exclusions in terms of PED, but what will happen is you will still have to declare your PEDs correctly. In the journey, please do declare all your PEDs. You will still have a 0 day PED this year once you renew. But please understand that we have to declare all possible PEDs. That is very, very important. Please do that. You will, whatever you declare on that, you will have a 0 day PED on that. That's the best way to look at it.
Next question: are consumable covered? No. Answered this. Shekhar, I'm still single. Hence, can I add spouse, parents-in-law in case I get married in future? Yes, you can. So even in case of child, let's say you adopt a child or a child is born, then those can be added at a later point of time. Kirti Sundar, twin sharing room. The hospitalization cost is fixed. So if I avail super topper, will my hospitalization be proportionately hiked up, even though I have an option to take the twin sharing? That's an amazing question. I think this will help. Answer to this will help people understand how costing is done in case of hospitalization. So let's take it up in detail, Bodhan. You want to answer this?
Yeah. So what Kirti is asking that he's got into or she, I'm sorry, I'm not able to understand. They have taken up a twin sharing room. The hospitalization cost is fixed, yes. So if I avail the super topper plan, will my hospitalization be proportionately hiked up? So ideally, Kirti, if you have the privilege of getting into a single private AC room, you should do that. And in that case, if you get into a lower category room, your bill is not going to go down. It is still going to come up as your room category only. In case that is what that you're trying to understand. And ideally, please stick to your room plan. That's the best way, to look at this kind of a scenario. If your base policy allows you a twin sharing or a lower room rent cost for which you had to move into a twin sharing room, I will recommend if it gets picked up, if the entire amount gets picked up by your base policy, please do get into that. But if it is a bigger claim, larger claim, get into a room wherein the implications on the super topper program would be lesser. So get into a room which is more comfortable. That would be a permutation combination that you would or might want to have a look at.
I'll
Yeah,
add to
Piyush,
this.
over to you.
I think the logic of room is essentially your most of the fees in hospital when somebody gets hospitalized, like doctor's fees or surgery fees. Those are related or those are multipliers on the room type that you are taking. So essentially, room type is an indication on what kind of economic background do you come from, or what kind of uh, uh, expenses you want to make. So if you're taking a very let's say sharing room, that means your expenses will be multiple of will be there will be a formula. It might be a multiple of what your or room rent is. If you're taking a single AC room, then your all your expenses will be proportionately increasing. Now, super top up permits you to take a single private AC room, and so that means super top up wise you will be able to afford uh, room up till single private AC room. While it depends, if your base policy does not have super top up, that means sorry, if your base policy does not have single private AC room, if your base policy has only twin sharing room, it will calculate while you make the claim. The calculation will be done in the base policy on the basis of the rates in that hospital for a twin sharing room. So you may end up paying half the cost from the for, which pertains to base policy from your own pocket rather than from the base policy. Well, super topper will contain any expense beyond your deductible, which is if it is 3 lakh, then beyond 3 lakh. It doesn't matter whether rest of the amount is paid from your pocket or from. So Shyam has another question. Are there plans to roll out a regular Mediclaim policy? Again, we will do a survey and get back. Next question. Going forward, the renewal of the policy will be via IIMK, or will it be directly with the insurer or provider? Going forward, it will be with it is a group policy, so it will happen only through IIMK Alumni Association. If there's any change, we will certainly keep you informed. What plans to choose for a person who is single, and how to compute the insurance amount? In good question. Would you answer this, Bodhain?
Yeah. Yeah. Thanks, Piyush. So Sujit, first point is sit down, take a piece of paper, understand to what extent you're insured. That's basically understanding your risk profile. If you have a corporate insurance, write down 3, 5, whatever, 10, whatever sum insured you're insured for, what base insurance you have, and based on that, look at how your family is covered. Primarily for our parents, you will see that we might be covered by our employers So normally we are people, who only learn by examples and experiences. So we don't plan ahead. So Jeet, interesting question. I would say that plan ahead, write down on the piece of paper your risk profiling, to what extent you're covered in insurance, to what extent is a spouse, kids covered, to what extent is a parent and in-laws covered. You will see that the graph will go down like this. You will be covered for the highest, then spouse, then if she's working, he or she might be covered to an extent, or in case of your partner, the graph close goes down. And for parents, it will be lower sum insureds covered, and then for in-laws, it will be lower sum insureds covered because of their age. So do that analysis, and here IIM Cozy Code Alumni Association is giving you a option to choose. So you might as well look at a high sum insured, a 50 lakh sum insured, maybe a 75 lakh sum insured, or you might look at a 50 lakh or a 20 lakh or a 30 lakh for your parents. In the insurance market, your risk profiling is one. The second is to understand that as you keep entering the insurance market and as your age goes up, the cost of entry keeps going up. And at one portion of time, it becomes undeniable. It becomes deniable. So what is important to understand is getting an entry into the insurance program and crossing that PED wait period. Then you are completely into it and you keep renewing that option. In this case, preferably, maybe understanding your family, you choose a higher sum insured for alumni, spouse, kids, choose a sort of a lower sum insured maybe for your parents, or maybe equal sum insured for your parents. And deductibles, choose the deductibles wisely based on the current base protection that you have. From your employer, if it is 5 lakhs, choose a 3 lakh deductible, choose a slightly lower deductible than the insurance program that you have. Over to you, Piyush.
All right, we have another question. If alumni and spouse plan is taken and there's a childbirth during the year, will the child be covered automatically or they need enrollment? So this is midterm. There are life events like childbirth which happen or marriage will happen during the year. Can we cover them, cover the newly introduced member in the family during in between the year?
Yeah, any this kind of a life-changing environment like a childbirth or marriage, yes, we can, but they have to be endorsed in the policy. So you have to write to Zopper and we have to process that.
So process is essentially write to us and we'll get them covered. Even in case of adoption, by the
Over
way,
to
if
you,
you're
Piyush.
adopting, you can inform us as and when the adoption process happens, and then we'll cover the adopted child. So, Shekhar asks, "I'm married without kid. How does Plan C work in this case? Uh, would the kids get automatically added post birth? Not automatically. You will have to inform the insurer. The insurer does not have any information, so you have to send a mail to Zopper, the email ID, support email ID that we have shared, and we'll get the child endorsed. Next question. Abhi asked a point of confusion for me. You shared that medical test is not required, and you later also mentioned that extremely critical situations will not be picked up. Please clarify. So this means we essentially it is not we are not asking insurer to test and tell what is the medical extremely critical situation. It is us who are declaring that we are suffering from a specific critically medical condition. While we make claim, the insurer will understand from all the hospital reports whether it was already extremely critical situation or not. In that case, if you have got yourself covered without declaring, then the policy might get cancelled. Bodhain, you want to add to this?
Yeah, so ideally we are going by the concept of declaration where it is expected. So insurance is basically utmost good faith. And we are following that principle of utmost good faith, where we are only requesting that you declare correct information in case. So wherever you feel that there is a PED box coming up where you need to declare all your PEDs, please do that. That is important because declaring information on our own is extremely important. That is also applicable for existing members as well. Who will come up for renewal, please declare all your PEDs. You will not be penalized for the existing PEDs, but they will get zero PED. But you should mention that in the policy. So that's one. Second, for the yes, ideally, if we subject everybody to medical tests, that's a lot of hassle. So what we have done here is we have killed the medical test criteria, and we are only going by declaration. And if it is found that somebody had a critical illness but didn't click on that button, later on filed a claim, there's a likely chance that claim will not get paid. So this is only we are going by trust, and insurance ka first principle is utmost good faith. So we are going by that. Piyush, over to you.
All right. Next question. Will the reimbursement for abroad expenses covered or only in India? So your geography is only India, means any expense which is done in India will be reimbursed, but not outside India. So geography of the policy is India. Geography of hospitalization and expenses done in India. Uh, for parents-in-law, the minimum age limit is mentioned as 51. If one of the parent-in-law is less than 51, will they be eligible to apply? I think that's a special case in today's world. I think last year we got a few specific parents who were lesser years of lesser age. So if one of your parent is lesser than 51, kindly connect with us one to one. We'll get them covered. Uh, and the age of older parent in law will be considered to calculate the rate chart. If those asked, what if some PED was not disclosed but waiting period is over? Say claim is 3 years after enrollment. Will claim be honored or rejected since PED was not disclosed? Star Health rejected such a claim. I think this is a good question. Let's take it up, Pradhan.
Yeah, so the answer that he has talked about, Star Health rejected such a claim. They have rejected on the grounds of principle of utmost good faith, which we talked about in the last question. So in insurance, it is only understood that whatever you write on the proposal form, that is sacrosanct, and that becomes a legal document. So if you declare all your PEDs and one of the PD related claim comes in where you have crossed that PD waiting period, insurer is liable to pay. Suppose for some reason I don't declare that PED, and later on after 3 years or 5 years, usi PED related there is some claim. In that case, the insurer can come back and if they dig dive and find out that at the time when I took the policy, I didn't declare my PED correctly to declare that. So in that case, if I get an option to declare my PD, I should declare it correctly. Otherwise, insurer can come back and reject the claim. That's the point.
I think there was some regulation or some case where if by mistake somebody did not declare for several years, I think there was a limit mentioned 4 years or 5 years, after which the person was assumed to be covered. The court, in a specific case, I'm not talking about regulation in general, when a specific case, court allowed that PED to be covered because PED waiting period was over, and that was probably 4 year or 7 year in that policy. So in any case, I think taking utmost good faith wala logic, we should always mention the PED which are existing, and we should because what happens is either you have to go to a court to get it rectified and fight with the insurer, or I think even in the current case, the single claim that happened in this year, there was one PED which was not declared, and because of that mistake, it took a very long time for us to get that rectified and then get an acceptance of the claim. Uh, so it becomes difficult for us as well as for the insurer to adjudicate or accept the claim. So we request you to be honest in declaring all the PEDs. Uh, for any question or any doubt around that, you can reach out to us. We'll help you understand if it is a PED or if it is not a PED. Last year we had questions like I eat, I chew pan while I go and meet my friends, and that's once in a month. So is that considered a PED? So no, that's not considered a PED. So if you have questions of that sort, kindly connect with us. Raghav asks, next question. Raghav asks, does the treatment towards neurodiversity individuals covered? Uh, Bodhain, I think would be best if you answer this question.
Yeah, neuro related things are covered exactly. If something Raghav has in his mind, he can write back to the IMK helpline ID. We will check back with the insurer and come back.
Abhishek asked, which is the insurance company selected for this year? Will keep you changing the insurance YOY. So this year also we have Care. Care has the lease rates. That's one. The other insurance company that we had selected was quoting rates more than twice. That was one. Second point. So we had three companies which proposed. Other companies were proposing lesser premium, not as big as 1 CR, but maybe as high as 50 lakhs only. So that was another
Some
benefit
insured,
for
you
the,
mean?
yeah, some insured. I'm sorry, some insured. So that was another benefit that we had. Will you keep changing the insurer YOY? We may. So every year we have more and more data from claims and the population demographic perspective. So every year we will go and scout other insurance companies as well, uh, and wherever we get the best deal, we will be going with them. Any other point you want to make, Bodhan?
Yeah, no, I think this is fair.
Okay. Please throw light on coverages and exclusions. We will share a detailed list again. I think we discussed that in the in while we showed the presentation. It is also shared. We'll share a detailed list also once again on the WhatsApp group. Sumit asked, can you please explain one more time on how cashless claims works along with the base policy? Hospitals generally can put claim on only one policy, not two. So you want to take it up this time, Bodhan?
Yeah,
One more
yeah,
explanation.
Piyush. So how it happens? Yeah, how it happens here, Sumit, to answer your question, is that you will have to go and talk to the hospital. In case of large size claims, hospitals will pick up both the claims as cashless, will take your documents and send it across to the insurer. So both in these cases, cashless claims can be done. And ideally, hospital might want to ask for cashless from one and a reimbursement from another if the difference is not much. Say 5 lakh claim hai, your base insurance policy is giving you 4 lakhs or 5 lakhs. There is minus some consumables. In those cases, the hospital might not want, but in case of larger ticket claims, always they will only come back and ask. And if they don't, you go back and tell them, I have this, please claim cashless from that also. So ideally, this can be worked out. So Piyush, I think we are almost 1 hour 52 minutes into the session.
Yes.
Maybe a couple of questions more, and then we float a Google form and get back all the questions and reply back to them.
Right. Let's do that. What I propose is we will compile all the list of questions which are there on the YouTube channel. We'll create a document and we'll share with everyone in the group also. So we'll update the FAQ document which we have already shared. That's one we will do. If there are more questions
Hmm.
beyond that, we'll float a Google form also to cater all the cater to all the questions or questions which are remaining beyond 2 hours. So let's do it for another 5 minutes and then we'll wrap up the session. Okay. So next question
Sure.
is it allowed to reduce available sum for each type of super top up next year? Yes. So this year we got a flexibility. So for second year we got a flexibility. Next year I think we'll with more data we will understand what kind of risk and what kind of underwriting insurer would be interested in. And for next year we cannot promise as of now, but highly likely we'll try the best possible terms and conditions for us, and much more better than what we have this year. Next question. Yash asked a very peculiar situation I got into last year. My mom had to take an angioplasty. I have a base policy and super topper given by care. I first applied for my claim through base policy. And we need to have more detailed question here. They said the claim is still pending. When do I get super top up in the picture? So, any clue on
After
this?
submitting of payment receipts, after submitting of payment receipts. So ideally, whatever is the deductible, it is not linked to a claim. You have to submit payment receipts stating that for the deductible to the deductible amount, the payment has been done. So
Okay.
when you're able to submit the payment receipts, you can trigger the claim in Super Top.
I think for this case, because Yash has already applied, I think I would recommend Yash to talk to us one to one and send it, maybe send a detailed note. We can look into it and advise you one to one. Ranjit asked, please clarify additional sum insured will have a waiting period of 1 year. Well, only previously mentioned sum insured will be provided in claim. The additional sum insured will kick in only next renewal. Let me answer this. So let's say this last year you took a policy of 30 lakh and next year you are taking a policy of 50 lakh. So that means 20 lakh is additional. That means you want to cover additional 20 lakh risk now from this year onwards. So that means this is a newer risk in terms of the sum insured. That 20 lakh, waiting for 20 lakh will start uh, this year. So if you had a PED, if the family member had a PED, then up till 30 lakh will be covered in this current year policy, while beyond 30 lakh you will have to pay from your pocket. While if you make a claim in next year, the entire 50 lakh will be covered for the pre-existing disease. Next question.
And just to add here, Piyush,
Yeah.
just to add here, for the sake of understanding of everyone, that suppose I have, taking your example, I had 30 lakhs last year, and this time I've made it 50 years, 50 lakhs, sorry, at the time of renewal. In this case, this additional 20 lakhs, the wait period is only on the PED, but the overall sum insured available is 50 lakhs. So in case of an accident, in case of any ailment or illness which is not linked to that PED, then I can claim up to 50 lakhs. The wait period on the additional sum insured is only for the PED, the pre-existing diseases. That's it.
Yes. Thank you. Next question.
Over to you. Yeah.
Having a base insurance option to migrate to existing policy will be helpful. Migration is not allowed, but yes, base we will look into it. Next. Please get survey done. Yes, we will. Next. What happens if parent was 85 last year and was covered and now crosses 85 for this year? Yes, we will cover those. So 85 is the entry age on the first date of enrollment, not in subsequent. Next. So even if your parent, let's say after 15 years, your parent becomes 100 years and the policy continues, then they will keep on getting them covered. Varun asks, what are the exclusions in terms of disease in case of non-pre-existing? We'll share the list with all of you in the WhatsApp group. Clark asks, what if deductible threshold is reached in Jan to March? And from April, can cashless OPD be claimed? Is there a need for new deductible calculation again? You want to answer this?
No, so the best way to understand the problem that Clark would have is that you need to cross the deductible once in that policy year and show payment receipts of crossing the deductible. That's it. You can trigger anything in this policy.
The
That's the
deductible is
best way
not
to look at
here.
this. Huh. Yeah.
Dhruv asks how to port the policy. It's not allowed. Currently, I have a medical policy for my parents. Sum insured is 5 and around 7 lakh bonus. What deductible amount should I go if with I am porting the policy? So I think there's a doubt here. Do you want to port it to super top up? Then it's not allowed. But if you are porting from your one policy to another insurer for that specific policy, you can connect with your insurer to port. But porting within this policy is not allowed. Essentially, porting would certainly mean that you are canceling that policy and you are entering this policy. Porting is not allowed in this policy. Porting, you can port to another insurer with your base policy. Next question. Can I add a spouse and parents law? When I yes, we answered this. Next. Can I reduce the deductible amount? Yes, this year we are allowing. Last year I had 5 lakh for 50 lakh. So this year we have flexibility to change both deductible as well as sum insured. Next question. Is the insurance covered IVF or fertility related treatment? I think you are the best person to answer this.
Yeah, so IVF treatments, if you look at, normally gets picked up to the maternity cost only in insurance policies. In this case, maternity will not get covered because the deductible, minimum deductible is 3 lakhs. So ideally, this will not get picked up in any of the super top-ups on the deductible that we have.
unless it is, I guess, unless it is extremely critical IVF or complicated IVF where cost goes beyond deductible. Am I speaking? Am
Yeah,
I?
yeah. So IVF क्या है? So IVF, Piyush, if you understand, is not linked to any hospitalization. It's linked to a different kind of a treatment. So in that case, if I get into a 5 lakh or a 10 lakh package, and I say that the balance should get picked up, it will still not get picked up because hospitalization doesn't happen uske andar, for 24 hours. So there's a lot of parameters which are there. So normally in insurance, infertility treatments, IVF is an infertility treatment that is picked up only to the maternity limit in the policy. This policy doesn't cover maternity because maternity costs are much lower, 50,000, 75, 1 lakh. Hence, this policy is not triggered, even if you pay.
All right. Next question. One parent age is more than 85. Will the other be allowed? Yes, we'll allow the other one. Next. Hope the corporate policy from company can be yes, that can be considered. It doesn't matter. Next. I would like to comment about the cashless scheme in terms of my experience as the head of the institution working in hospital. I suggest to get clarity on cashless scenario to the insured. Sure, we'll connect with you, Abby, on this. Next question. What if heart ailment happened after the policy was taken? It will be covered. Next. Can us add different sum insured for plan B? Yes, you can add different sum insured for each of the three policies. Next question. Many times the customer used to suffer and the provider used to drag the customer to clear the payment as advance to get discharged. Yes, that's in hospital because insurance hospital want their payment while insurance company may take time in approving the claim. So that's why it is important to understand which policy to claim first, whether top up or the base policy. Bodhan, you want to say something on this?
Yeah, you're right, Piyush. I have nothing to add here.
Okay, let's go next. If parent has individual medical insurance policy and PIL does not have any medical policy, can they? Yes, they can be covered and enrolled in the super top policy. Next question. Any questions are becoming repetitive? This we have already taken. There are so many exclusion used to impose and drag the customer to make portion of payment from their pocket. I hope that our provider will not give the shock to us. So I think AB comes from his hospital experience. He works in a hospital in the administration side. I think so. For one single case where we had experience, the rejection was on the basis of PED, and we faced a similar problem. However, that was because of the PED and a gray line between PED, relationship of PED and the ailment, reason of hospitalization, where we appeared. We means the alumni team as well as Zopper appeared and helped alumni get the claim done. For others, I think since we work closely with the insurer, we will make sure that for all the righteous amount and for the righteous claim, the insurer side is never at fault. While hospital side, it depends. Different hospitals have different practices. There may be hospitals which have which are good in terms of customer experience, while there may be hospitals which may not be that great. So I think this is a subject matter from hospital side. We certainly will take care from the insurer side, that we can promise, to make the best and utmost help to every alumni and the family members. From hospital side, I think it depends on how the hospital is. So certainly a feedback is required before you get admitted. Also, insurer creates a list which is a permit network list, non-network list, and a blacklist. So blacklisted hospitals are those hospitals where such kind of practices happen, where claim experience is not that great, or some negative activities are happening which are not legal or otherwise. I think but then let's share those lists with alumni so that they can make the best choice of hospital, at least from the list that insurer has created. Is
Thanks.
there anything
So
that you want to add on this?
yeah. So we will be able to share the network list, which is a dynamic list, which keeps getting changing. But that network list can be shared.
Let's go to the next question. I think we are up now. Let's do one thing, Budayan. We should hold one more session. Few things that we have to do. We will share answers to all the questions that have come in the live chat. We will not be able to answer. Probably will not be able to answer all the questions right away. We will create a list. We'll float the answers along with the name. Uh, and we'll share in the WhatsApp group. So I'm sure that all of you are there in the WhatsApp group. We'll share the surveys for base plan, term plan as well. And then let's hold one more session. So for that session, I would certainly ask you to do the homework, read all the FAQs, and we'll share a deadline 23:59 to all of you. And then we can have questions which are not repetitive and questions which are not answered in the FAQ. How about that? So let's do that in next, I think 2-3 days, so that more people can get a clue on this.
Right, Piyush. Great.
All right.
Wonderful.
So as a next step, we'll come back with you a compiled list of FAQ. That's one. Second, we'll do survey. Third, we'll share the list of all the coverages, ailments or very supercritical ailments. We are already talking in the final leg of discussion with the insurer. Fourth, we'll start the process of enrollment very hopefully by Monday evening. So for that, we will also share a guide to all of you so that you can go and enroll very easily. So these are the four things onto us. For you, the task is that you go and read all the documents. I urge all of you to read all the documents so that we have a shorter and better discussion, and you are able to select the right sum insured, right deductible for each of your family members. So that's all from our side. I thank all of you to attend this in large numbers today. I think 2 hours is a very long session. Today people don't attend sessions more than I think 30 minutes. So thank you so much. I thank Bodhayan and his team who is working at the back end. I also thank alumni office headed by Dr. Naisel, who is helping us from the background, and his team. So his team involves the alumni office, the IT team at IIMK. We have several alumni who are working with us in the team, including Anchit. If I name, then we'll have a long list. So I thank all of you, as well as I thank all who are supporting us in the background to make the life easier for all of us together. Thank you. We'll close the session now.
Thank you so much. Thanks.
Thanks. Bye.